When I first got my Skylark pattern plane, one of the questions I got was, are you going to turn into a pattern junkie? And my answer to that is no, and it's still no, even though this is a massive pattern ship. I'm not going to turn into just a pattern channel. One thing that's important for you to know, even if you have no interest in flying pattern at all, these pattern planes are superb sport planes. So before I get into the specifics about where I got this and what we're doing with it, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the plane first. This one is a 63-inch wingspan and a 65-inch fuselage. It weighs 2,500 grams all up, although some flight reports indicate it weighs a little heavier than that. The 2,500 grams converts to 5.5 pounds, but as I said, I've gotten reports or read reports that it weighs in a little heavier than that when it's ready for flight. It uses a dual elevator servo setup, and I'll cover that in just a few minutes. It's a really trick little arrangement. It uses a pull-pull rudder system, and it uses aileron servos in the wing. It spins a 60 class motor. In this case, the motor comes with the plane, and I've got some exciting announcements about that as well. And in this particular kit, it also comes with the propeller. And I'll show you the propeller in a little bit too, because that's even special on this plane. The ESC, I'm going to do something I've never done before, and I'm going to drop a little bit of coin on an ESC, because the one that I'm going to buy has what they call F3A braking, and that allows me to tune the brake settings on the ESC to help with flying the downline. So in the opening segment, I wanted to put objects in there that would help you get a feel for the size of the plane. There's my hand. And it's, I don't know, if you can pick it up by looking, but that is massive. I mean, it's by far, it is the second biggest plane I own, and it probably looks like the biggest. The biggest plane I own is actually a 70-inch My Twin Dream that I used to fly long range out in the deserts of Arizona. And the fuselage on that one is nowhere near as beefy looking as this one. So this is a balsa and shrink cover model, ARF. It is an F3A pattern ship, no question about it. It's not a 2-meter though, believe it or not, it still gets bigger. If you remember the video I did with Dave with his 2-meter Vanquish, that plane's bigger than this one. So this is what you'd call a mid-range pattern ship. But it's hard to put into words just how big this plane is. Look how nice that shrink covering is. And I love the color scheme. I'm a Florida Gator, so orange, white, and blue is never wrong to me. So I love the color scheme on this plane. And it reminds me a little bit of the Chaos. The Chaos uses a orange, blue, and white scheme as well, but it looks a little more dated than this one. Now, one of the more interesting aspects of this plane that I've never had before is that they use thumb screws. And it's my understanding after talking with Dave about this, Dave has been involved in the pattern scene much longer than I have, but it's my understanding that most of the higher end championship pattern planes use these thumb screws. So I'm going to pop the other one off and give you a look inside the canopy. Yeah, if you're one of the ones that likes to click through a video real quick and not watch the whole thing, I'm going to encourage you on this one, try not to do that, because there's going to be some very important information that I'll be talking about in the middle of the video. So you're going to want to stick around and make sure you get that information. All right, inside, the battery tray is just flat huge. I mean, I don't have my 6L 5000s out here, but that's what I'll be flying this with, and that battery tray is just massive. And by the way, there is still another motor box that gets bolted on up front for the electric motor, so the motor will come out even further. And as you can see, I've done some test fitting. I've just got a standard servo in there. That's where the rudder goes. It's kind of odd looking to look inside a plane and only see one servo. Everything else is distributed toward the back of the plane. If you remember on the Vanquish, I made a comment about how they went to the extra length to manage airflow, and they've done the same thing on this plane. This has got a solid piece of, it feels like it's shrink covering is what it feels like, and then the egress holes for the airflow are right down there. I have to cut them out, but they are perforated, and the instructions do call for that to be cut out down there for airflow. So I'll be taking those out during the build. But anyway, the build quality up front looks solid. I don't see any issues at all. It's got foam material up here in the turtle deck. And I'm not sure if it feels like it's sheeted, so that foam material is just there to help the balsa maintain its shape. Very nice. Feels very high end up in there. The canopy looks to be in good shape. They've done an excellent job with the trim around the outer edge. I'll never understand how they do that. I can't do that. And not only are the edges all perfectly clean, but they're very symmetrical too when I look around. Anyway, the canopy glass looks excellent on this plane. I'm not sure if this is marring or if it's just dirt. I will get some glass cleaner out later and check it out, and I'll let you know on the build video. But even if it is marring, it's very, very slight. It's very, very slight. So the canopy does look very good. Very lightweight. And the locking mechanism, as I said, using the thumb screws, very positive lock on this one. So that all looks very good. All right, the motor cowl is already cut for airflow, which you guys have heard me say this any number of times, super important. And I do appreciate that they went ahead and cut the cowl to allow for airflow right out of the box. That way I don't run the risk of damaging the paint on this cowl. And the paint looks excellent. I see one maybe, nope, that's external. Yeah, paint looks excellent on this. Needs to be cleaned, but it's I'm not picking up any defects in the paint whatsoever. So it looks very good. And I did, in the opening video, I had the cowl on the plane, and I did see that the graphics lined up very well. So I don't have any concerns about the cowl at all. The cord on these wings is just, well, here, look at this. Here's an iPad. There's an iPad. This is just the 11-inch iPad, the smaller one, but there you go. There's an iPad. Look how big that cord is, man. It's just ridiculous looking. I mean, ridiculously cool looking is what I'm saying. It's big and very skinny wings, symmetrical airfoil, but very thin wings. The ailerons are taped on. I believe they're pre-slotted. I'll have to check, but I'm pretty sure they're pre-slotted. I haven't taken the tape off yet. And as you can see on the bottom, it's designed for hidden aileron servos. And I'll get into the control horns in a minute to show you what they look like. But the hinge material are the pinned plastic hinges. You'll have to forgive my fingerprints. I've been looking the plane over very closely. You can see there are a couple wrinkles in here, but you know, this is nothing to write home about. I've seen far worse on multiple airplanes. So this is just real simple with either a heat gun or an iron to pop those out real fast. So this is the port wing. Look at the size of those ailerons too. I mean, that's a big aileron surface. And here is the starboard wing. I'm going to move it so you can see the entire thing. It's just, this is such a big plane, it's kind of difficult to manage camera angles on this one. And then here's the underside of that starboard wing. The incidence angle on this plane is not adjustable, so it does have fixed incidence pins, but I did post a video talking about how to adjust incidence on wings that aren't meant for it, so you want to make sure you check that out if you get a chance, and if you're interested in such things. This is one of the coolest things because the last time I saw a prop like this was when I built my own homemade 650 size quad. So this is a 17 by 12 carbon fiber prop, and it comes with the kit. I haven't balanced it yet, but it looks like they might have done some balancing. Down here on the end, it's a little bit more dull than the other side. So it's possible that they've done some balancing already. Right, the landing gear legs are, I guess they're steel. They're not carbon fiber, unfortunately. I'm a little disappointed in that. I wish they were carbon fiber, but we'll try them out and see how they do. I know in the RC Groups thread that I read on this particular aircraft, some folks have switched these out for carbon fiber legs that they found out on the internet. I'll fly it the way it comes and see what I think, and if it works out, I'll leave it. If not, I'll make a change. And then here are the wheel skirts for those pants. So they're covered, and they will get glued on, something like that, when the plane is put together. All right, this is one of the more trick elevators I've ever seen, and notice on the plane, the vertical stabilizer is built into the plane. So one of the very nice features about this one is you don't have to worry about getting that perfect 90-degree angle in relation to the elevator. This elevator, there's two options for the servos. You can either, let me see if I wonder if you can see this. I don't know if you can see the shadow or not. Let me try. All right, right here on the plane, I can see it. There is a cutout that allows you to put the elevator servo back here if you want on the external, so it would screw in on the outside and then work the tail. And then the other option is to put the elevator inside that pocket, and that's a 25-gram elevator. When I do the build review, I'll post the specs of that dimension, so if you're interested in this plane, I'll tell you what servos I used and how big those openings are so you can hunt down the servos you want to use in there. But that is a 25-gram servo size opening. So you put that, servo goes way inside there, and then the arm comes out here and connects to the horn, and you have a very hidden elevator servo. No pushrod guide tubes, no long extensions from the elevator to the servo, a very direct short link, much like an aileron. That's kind of what it's like. So you have your option, and then it is laughably thick. I mean, this is a full-on airfoil. It looks very good. Everything looks clean and tidy. I check for alignment from the counterweight to the leading edge, and on first look, without being hinged, everything looks perfectly straight and square. We'll see. I've got to put it together, but we'll see. All right, and then there's the other elevator half. This is the Portside Elevator. Again, my fingerprints, I've been handling this thing and inspecting everything. Okay, there's a hole there that's by design. The idea is that you put your spar in, you drill through it, and then you use a set screw to go into that spar to hold the horizontal stabilizer onto the spar. So that's what that's for. It's not a mistake. Okay, there's the rudder. It's got a very unique shape to it. Both sides are concave. So I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up or not. Maybe there you go. So you can see that the rudder itself is concave, and then on the trailing edge, it's also concave. Like you could take this spar tube, check that out. So that spar tube just lays in there. So concave. I asked Dave about it. He said that was a thing in F3A championship flying for quite a while. That was kind of a big deal. They did that. So that's not a mistake. It's by design, and that is the back of the rudder. So very interesting shape, and then of course the nice 45-degree cuts and a big slot for the control horn. All right, unfortunately, this is a pretty big bag of hardware. There's a lot of hinges in there. I did take out one of the control horns because I wanted to give you a close look at that. It is a composite style, probably fiberglass control horn, but you can see there's only one hole, so they tell you where that needs to be connected to the push rod. There are ball links in there, if you can see those. So ball link connectors, pinned hinges. The wheel and axle setup, pretty typical, average wheels, nothing to write home about there, just normal wheels. There is the motor mount for an IC engine and the motor box, I believe, for the brushless motor. And then the wheel pants, which look very good. No concerns on those. I've checked them out, looked them over. They look excellent. A fuel tank and some hook and loop for gadgets that you're going to use inside the plane. And then here is the tail wheel assembly and the rudder pull apparatus all in this bag. And I've got a couple push rods floating around somewhere, but I'm sure you guys don't care about push rods, so I'm not going to bother with that. All right, guys, that covers the hardware in this ARF. Now I'd like to get into the special information that's going to be interesting to you. So if you don't know what this plane is, it's a Dynam airplane. And yeah, it's Balsa. It's been around actually for a couple years. I looked on the RC Group's thread and saw some discussion about it, and out there on the forums, there is a widespread belief that you can't even get this plane in the US anymore. But here's the thing, you can. And the channel's partnership with BitGo Hobby, who by the way sponsored the video, so big shout out and thanks to BitGo for providing this airplane for review. But I had a discussion with them about this plane, and they were happy to send this out for review so you could get a look at it. And on top of that, here's the good stuff. They're going to run a sale. So there it is. There's the text. Hey Dave, that one's you, buddy. That one's you. Okay, so they're going to be running a pretty nice sale on this plane, and all I can say is keep checking back on their website. They know that this video is going up tonight, and sometime after this video posts, they will enable the sale, and they're going to take 20% off. Now, the plane currently retails for $333, so they're going to bring it down to about $270-ish, somewhere in there. But before you go running for the hills, consider this. That price includes a Tomcat G601 400 kV motor. Yes, it includes the motor. Now, my motor wasn't in my box, but they're going to send me one. I clarified. They said, yep, it includes the motor. We'll send one right out to you. So I'm getting my motor. And the retail versions of this kit come with the motor. So you get a G601 400 kV motor, which is a 1500 watt motor. Go price it, guys. Any motor in that weight class is going to be 75-ish plus dollars. Not only that, but it includes a carbon fiber prop, and if you go price this guy out, you're going to look at a $20 to $30 bill for one of these as well. $100 in extras basically will net you this plane for 175 bucks. Then you throw in the $100 for the motor and the prop, so you're out $275, and you've got a massive, highly competent sport plane if you want to fly it sport, or a pattern plane if you want to get into F3A. I'm really, again, thrilled to be partnered up with BitGo Hobby to bring these first look type videos and product videos to you guys. If you're interested in this plane, I will have an affiliate link in the description, so I would really appreciate it if you guys use my affiliate link when you go buy this plane. And definitely check it out. You know, if you've been interested in getting into F3A, number one, it's very hard to find a 63-inch F3A plane in the US in the first place. And second, if you do find them, half the time they're not in stock. And if they are in stock, the equivalent price on an airplane of this caliber is probably close to $400 or $500. And that's no joke. I'm not making that up. Go shop. You'll find out that I'm telling the truth. And this plane is generally well respected. In fact, Grayson Hobby did a spectacular flight video of this plane where they have a guy flying it that's far, far more competent than me. And the plane was amazing, amazing in the air. And they had very high praise for it as well. I wanted to get a look at the plane and measure the openings for the servos myself to get an understanding of just what servos I wanted to use in the plane. And then I also spent some time talking with Dave about different ESC options, and I did decide to go ahead and spring for a Castle Creations 75 amp ESC that does data logging, and it has some ESC brake controls for F3A pattern flying that I've wanted to try out. I just ordered those, they're on the way. I have to wait for those things to show up before I can do my build video on this plane, but you can rest assured I want this plane built as fast as I can because I simply cannot wait to fly it. I've been having a great time with my Vanquish, I've been having a great time with my Skylark, and I think this thing is just going to be a blast. Look forward to the build review and the maiden. I'll get those done as fast as possible. And if you want to score yourself a pretty large size, nice looking Balsa pattern ship or sport plane, go check it out. You're not going to find deals like this very often, I can assure you of that. All right, guys, that's all I've got for tonight. I hope you enjoyed the content. For my regular subscribers and commentators, you keep the comments up, keep the thumbs up coming. I appreciate all the interaction we have together. I enjoy your company. And if you're new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It really matters for smaller channels like mine to see growth, so we can keep growing and keep investing in the channel. It really makes a difference to see the channel grow. So if you're a regular visitor, I would appreciate it if you joined us, join the group, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and enjoy the journey. Make sure you know when new stuff hits the channel. All right, guys, that's all I've got for tonight. Take it easy.